Everything you've been taught about attraction is a lie. If you're tired of being ghosted, ignored, or stuck chasing people who never seem to care, stay right here. What I'm about to reveal will flip everything you know about relationships upside down. But be warned, this isn't for the faint of heart. Ready to learn the truth? Let's get started. In a world where everyone's telling you to be nice and always available, it's no wonder you feel like you're constantly being overlooked or taken for granted. But here's the truth. Being nice isn't working. What I'm about to share with you might even challenge everything you believe about relationships. But if you stick with me, you'll learn how to flip the script, control attraction, and finally stop chasing people who don't deserve you. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to make them chase you. And it all starts with understanding human psychology and Stoic mastery. Let's break it down. Number 1. The power of ignoring. Why it works. You've been lied to your entire life about how to gain attention. The world tells you that if you want someone's love, affection, or respect, you need to show them how much you care. It tells you to chase, to shower them with attention, to prove your worth. But here's the truth. The more you chase, the more they run. It's counterintuitive, right? But the power of ignoring is one of the strongest psychological tools you can use. And when you master it, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. Think about it. In today's world, everyone is competing for attention. Social media is overflowing with people trying to get likes, follows, and comments. When someone posts a picture, their phone lights up with notifications. They've got people sliding into their DMs, trying to get their attention 24/7. So, if you're just another voice in the crowd, another text in their inbox, what makes you stand out? Nothing. Here's the hard truth. Attention is only valuable when it's scarce. When someone knows they can get your attention anytime they want, your attention becomes worthless. But when you withhold it, when you make them work for it, you become valuable. Suddenly, they're not just thinking about you, they're obsessing over you. They wonder why you're not chasing them like everyone else. They start questioning what's so special about you that you don't need their validation. And guess what? That's when they start chasing you. The power of ignoring isn't just about being rude or dismissive. It's about creating space, about making yourself rare in a world where everyone is available all the time. And that scarcity drives desire. It's the same reason why luxury brands limit their stock. When something is hard to get, people want it more. The next time you feel the urge to text someone constantly, stop yourself. Ask yourself, what message am I sending by being this available? Instead of initiating contact, give them space. Let them come to you. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding that people value what they have to work for. Use the rule of scarcity to your advantage. In the early stages of getting to know someone, intentionally pull back at times. Don't always be available to hang out. Don't respond to texts right away, and don't always be the first to reach out. This creates intrigue, making them more interested in getting your attention. You're not ignoring them to be mean. You're ignoring them to show that your attention is a rare and valuable thing. Have you ever noticed that when someone is too eager to get your attention, it turns you off? Maybe they text you too much, they're too available, and they seem desperate. On the other hand, when someone is confident enough to give you space and isn't always around, you start to wonder about them. You start thinking about them more. That's because ignoring or creating space makes you seem more valuable. There's a principle called the scarcity effect. When something is perceived as rare, it becomes more desirable. This applies to everything: products, opportunities, and yes, even people. By limiting your availability and attention, you're making yourself a scarce resource, and people will naturally gravitate toward what they can't easily have. Number 2. Emotional triggers. Attraction is not about logic. It's not about how much money you have, how good you look, or how well you treat someone. Attraction is about emotions. Think about the most intense relationships or crushes you've ever had. Were they calm and logical, or were they filled with intense feelings, sometimes even chaotic ones? The truth is, emotions drive everything in relationships. People don't fall in love because of rational reasons. They fall in love because of how you make them feel. And if you want to create attraction, you need to master the art of emotional triggers. But here's the kicker. It's not just about making someone feel good all the time. That's a common mistake people make. They think if they shower someone with compliments, gifts, and attention, they'll win them over. But here's the truth. Too much positivity can actually be a turn-off. It's the emotional roller coaster, the highs and lows, that create the strongest attraction. People want excitement. They want suspense. They want to feel like they're on a journey with you, not a smooth, boring ride. So how do you trigger emotions? You mix things up. You keep them guessing. One day you're all in, giving them your full attention, making them feel amazing. The next day, you pull back a bit, give them space, and make them wonder why you're not as available. It's about balancing the push and pull. Use unpredictability to your advantage. Don't always be available, and don't always give the same level of attention. When you mix things up, you trigger emotional responses like curiosity, excitement, and even a little bit of frustration. These emotions, when combined, create intense attraction. Don't be afraid to create emotional contrast. Compliment someone, but then challenge them. Engage deeply, but then create some distance. These emotional shifts are what keep people hooked. Have you ever been in a situation where someone was giving you all their attention one moment and then suddenly pulled back? How did that make you feel? Chances are you became more interested in them. You started thinking about them more, wondering why they changed their behavior. That's the power of emotional triggers. This is rooted in something called intermittent reinforcement. It's the same principle that keeps people addicted to slot machines. You don't win every time, but when you do, it's a high. And that keeps you coming back for more. In relationships, when you give someone emotional highs followed by moments of uncertainty, they become addicted to the unpredictability. They keep coming back because they never know what they're going to get next. Number 3. High-value behavior, the art of detachment. Let's talk about value. In today's world, everyone is trying to prove their worth. Social media is filled with people flaunting their achievements, showing off their relationships, and trying to impress others. But here's the truth. Real value doesn't need to be proven. Real value is self-evident, and that's where the art of detachment comes in. High-value people don't chase others. They don't beg for attention. They don't overinvest in people who aren't investing in them, and they definitely don't make someone else the center of their universe. High-value people are detached. That doesn't mean they don't care. It means they understand their worth, and they don't need constant validation to feel good about themselves. Detachment is attractive because it shows confidence. It shows that you're secure in who you are, and you don't need anyone to complete you. And when you're detached, people are drawn to you because you're not giving off desperate energy. You're giving off the energy of someone who is valuable, someone who is focused on their own life, and someone who isn't going to chase after anyone's approval. Stop trying to prove your value to others. Instead, focus on building a life that you're proud of. Work on your fitness, your career, your hobbies, and your mental health. When you're living a fulfilling life, you won't feel the need to chase after others because your value will speak for itself. Practice detachment in your relationships. Don't cling to someone who isn't reciprocating your efforts. Don't be afraid to walk away from people who don't see your value. When you're detached from the outcome, you're in control of the dynamic, and that's incredibly attractive. Have you ever noticed how people who are desperate for attention often get ignored? On the other hand, the person who's focused on their own life, who's busy chasing their own goals, tends to attract more attention. That's the power of detachment. When you're not focused on seeking approval, you become more attractive to others. There's a psychological concept called self-validation. People who are self-validated don't need others to make them feel worthy. They know their worth, and that confidence makes them magnetic. When you're detached from needing validation from others, you radiate a sense of high value that draws people in. Number 4, mastering subtle influence. Let's get into the real meat of this: influence. And no, I'm not talking about manipulating people. I'm talking about understanding human psychology so deeply that you know how to subtly influence others in a way that benefits both of you. Influence isn't about forcing someone to do what you want. It's about guiding them towards the outcome you desire by understanding how their mind works. Think about it. Every time you interact with someone, there's an exchange of power. Whether you realize it or not, you're either influencing them or they're influencing you. And the people who understand influence are the ones who always seem to get what they want in life without even trying. Here's how subtle influence works. It's not about grand gestures or obvious manipulation. It's about the little things. The way you make eye contact, the way you speak, the confidence in your voice, and the boundaries you set. These small, almost invisible cues are what influence how people see you and respond to you. Start practicing subtle influence in your daily interactions. One of the easiest ways to do this is through body language. Stand tall, keep your shoulders back, and make eye contact. Confident body language sends a powerful message without you having to say a word. Learn the power of mirroring. People are naturally drawn to those who are similar to them. When you subtly mirror someone's body language or tone of voice, you create a subconscious connection that makes them feel more comfortable around you. But remember, this has to be subtle. If they notice you're copying them, it becomes creepy, not influential. Think about someone you know who always seems to get their way. They don't yell, they don't argue, and they don't force their opinions on others. Yet somehow, they always end up getting what they want. That's because they understand the art of subtle influence. They know how to guide conversations, how to project confidence, and how to make people feel like agreeing with them is the best option. Psychology behind it. Subtle influence is rooted in something called social proof. People are more likely to follow the lead of someone they perceive as confident and self-assured. When you project an image of confidence and control, others naturally follow your lead without you having to force anything. It's about creating an environment where they want to do what you want because they trust your judgment. Number 5. How self-control amplifies attraction. We live in a world where everyone's emotions are on full display. Whether it's through social media, texting, or real-life interactions, people are constantly reacting, venting, and letting their emotions take control. But here's the thing: the more reactive you are, the less control you have. And the less control you have, the less attractive you become. Stoic calm is one of the most powerful traits you can develop. It's the ability to remain composed no matter what's happening around you. It's the ability to control your emotions instead of letting your emotions control you. And when you can master this, you become a force to be reckoned with. People are naturally drawn to those who are calm under pressure. Think about it. When everyone around you is losing their cool, the person who stays calm stands out. They become the leader, the person others look to for guidance and strength. And that calm, that emotional discipline, is incredibly attractive because it signals confidence and control. The next time you feel yourself getting emotional, whether it's anger, frustration, or even excitement, pause. Take a deep breath and give yourself a moment to process before reacting. This small act of self-control can completely change how people perceive you. Practice being the calmest person in the room. Whether you're at work, with friends, or in a heated argument, aim to be the person who keeps their cool. When others are reactive, your stoic calm will make you stand out as someone who is in control and confident. Have you ever been in a situation where everyone was panicking or reacting emotionally, but there was one person who remained calm? That person immediately becomes the most attractive and respected person in the room. That's the power of stoic calm. When you're able to control your emotions, you become the person others look to for strength. This is rooted in something called emotional contagion. People tend to mirror the emotions of those around them. When you're calm, others will feel calmer around you. But when you're reactive, others will become reactive as well. By mastering stoic calm, you influence the emotional state of everyone around you, making you more attractive and respected. Number 6. Confidence through silence. Let's dive deeper into the concept of silence. Most people can't handle silence. They panic, thinking it means something's wrong, or they need to fill the gap with meaningless chatter. But here's the thing. When you're comfortable with silence, you're signaling immense confidence. You're telling the world that you don't need to be the center of attention at all times, that you're secure in yourself. Silence speaks volumes, and it speaks louder than any words you could say. In relationships, being comfortable with silence can be a game changer. When you hold back, when you don't rush to respond, it creates tension, the good kind of tension that keeps people interested. Think about this. The more you speak, the more you reveal. The more you reveal, the less mystery there is about you. And mystery is what keeps people coming back for more. Imagine this. You're texting someone new, and instead of replying instantly to every message, you wait. You take your time. And when you do respond, your answers are thoughtful, measured, and engaging, but brief. This keeps the other person guessing, wondering when they'll hear from you next, thinking about you in the meantime. Silence in this case becomes a weapon. It creates anticipation. Anticipation turns into attraction. Try this next time you're in a conversation, whether in person or over text. When someone asks you a question, take a pause before you answer. Look them in the eyes. Let them feel the weight of your presence. This pause creates suspense, and suspense heightens attraction. Number 7. Mystery and distance. Let's take the idea of silence even further and talk about mystery and distance. Here's a truth that's hard for some people to accept. People don't value what they fully understand. In other words, the more predictable you are, the less interesting you become. This is especially true in relationships. When you reveal everything about yourself too soon, your thoughts, your feelings, your entire life story, you remove the element of mystery. You become an open book. And let's face it, people rarely get excited about reading a book when they already know the ending. Mystery is powerful because it keeps people engaged. When someone doesn't know everything about you, their curiosity is piqued. They want to know more. And the less you give them, the more they crave. Combine that with a little distance, and you become irresistible. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding human nature. The more someone feels they can't fully have you, the more they will want you. Think about how often people overshare on social media, pictures, status updates, personal thoughts. It's all out there for anyone to see. Now, imagine someone who doesn't do that, someone who keeps parts of their life private. It instantly makes them more intriguing, right? That's the power of mystery. Keep parts of yourself to yourself, especially in the early stages of a relationship. Don't rush to give away your personal details. Let them earn your trust. The The slower you reveal who you are, the longer you keep their interest. Number 8. Rejection as power. Rejection sucks, right? No one likes it. But what if I told you that rejection could actually be one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal? Most people fear rejection because they take it personally. They think it's a reflection of their worth. But here's the truth. Rejection is never about you. It's about the other person's preferences, biases, or even their emotional baggage. Once you understand that, rejection becomes less about you and more about circumstance. Here's where the power comes in. It's how you respond to rejection that matters. Most people get upset, feel rejected, and maybe even lash out. But the real winners, the high-value individuals, flip the script. They handle rejection with grace and confidence. Instead of reacting emotionally, they shrug it off and move on, and that in itself is so attractive. It shows that your self-worth isn't tied to someone else's opinion. Let's say you ask someone out, and they say no. Most people would take that as a blow to their ego. But instead of sulking, you simply smile, say, "No problem," and walk away confidently. Now, here's the twist. By doing that, you've shown you're not desperate. You've shown you're confident enough to handle rejection, and that person, they're going to remember how you handled it. They might even second-guess their decision. Every time you face rejection, use it as an opportunity to showcase your emotional resilience. The more you master this, the more attractive you become. It's not about the rejection itself. It's about how you handle it. Number 9. Manipulation or strategy. Navigating the ethical line. Is using psychology in relationships manipulation? Some people might say yes, but here's where the line is drawn. Manipulation is about deceiving someone to get what you want, without regard for their feelings or well-being. Strategy, on the other hand, is about understanding how people think and using that knowledge to navigate relationships in a way that benefits both parties. When you understand human psychology, you can create situations where attraction naturally grows. That's not manipulation, it's playing the game smart. But you have to keep ethics in mind. You're not trying to trick someone into liking you. Instead, you're using your knowledge to create a dynamic where both people are invested. You're in a relationship, and instead of constantly seeking validation from your partner, you strategically pull back sometimes, creating space for them to come to you. You're not doing this to manipulate them, but to create a healthier balance in the relationship where both people give and receive equally. Always check your intentions. If your goal is mutual respect and attraction, you're using strategy, not manipulation. If your goal is purely selfish, you might be crossing into manipulation territory. Keep it ethical, and you'll see the best results. Number 10. Balancing confidence and vulnerability. We've talked a lot about confidence, detachment, and emotional control, but here's the final piece of the puzzle, vulnerability. Now, I know that might sound contradictory, but stay with me. Confidence is attractive because it shows strength, but vulnerability is attractive because it shows humanity. When you balance the two, you become unstoppable. Most people are afraid to show vulnerability because they think it makes them look weak. But the truth is, being vulnerable, when done from a place of strength, makes you more relatable and more attractive. It shows that you're confident enough in yourself to admit your flaws, to show your emotions, and to be real. And in a world where most people are hiding behind masks, being real is a rare and valuable quality. You're in a conversation with someone, and instead of trying to appear perfect, you admit that you've struggled with something in the past. Maybe it's a fear, a failure, or an insecurity. But here's the key. You're not looking for pity or validation. You're simply being honest. That honesty, combined with your confidence, creates a deeper connection. It shows that you're real, that you're human, and that's incredibly attractive. Don't be afraid to let your guard down sometimes. The key is to do it from a place of confidence. When you show that you're comfortable with your vulnerabilities, it makes people feel more connected to you, and that connection is where attraction thrives. You've just unlocked the secrets that most people will never even think about when it comes to relationships and attraction. Now it's up to you. Will you keep doing what everyone else is doing, or will you take control of your own story? The power is in your hands. Remember, attraction isn't about what you say. It's about what you don't say. It's about understanding what truly works and having the courage to act on it. The question is, are you ready to take control? If this opened your eyes, don't stop here. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and if you can, join our channel memberships to support us to keep creating high-quality videos like these. I want to hear from you. What's the biggest insight you're walking away with today? Drop it in the comments below, and let's talk about how you're going to use it. Thanks for watching.